The river looked calm from the bridge, almost gentle, but the truth hid beneath its dark, cold skin, and in the first terrifying seconds of this story everything changed when a runaway girl who had nothing left to lose saw a woman's car slip off the road, roll once, and vanish into the water as if the earth itself had swallowed her, and that moment split the world in two, because some people look away and some people run toward danger. And this girl, barely 17, soaked in fear and hunger and exhaustion, ran without thinking, her heart pounding so hard it felt like it might tear her chest apart. And before this story takes you any further, if you believe in kindness, second chances, and the power of one brave choice, please like this video, share it with someone who needs hope, subscribe to the channel, and tell us in the comments where you're watching from, because stories like this are the reason this community exists. Her name was Lily Carter, a name that carried no weight in the world, no safety, no family protection, because Lily had been running for months, sleeping behind gas stations, stealing small meals, hiding bruises from a past she never spoke about, a past that taught her adults could not be trusted and promises were lies. And yet as she tore off her shoes and jumped into that freezing river, none of that mattered, because all she could see was a shape sinking fast, bubbles racing toward the surface like the last breaths of someone who did not want to die. And Lily dove once, twice, again and again, her lungs screaming, her fingers scraping metal and glass until they found a door handle that would not open, panic clawing at her mind as the seconds dragged on, because she had no training, no strength left from weeks of hunger, and yet something deeper than fear kept pulling her back under. A stubborn refusal to let another life disappear when she was already so used to feeling invisible herself. Inside the car was Emma Reynolds, though Lily did not know her name then, a woman trapped upside down, seatbelt locked, hair floating like a halo, eyes wide with terror as water rushed in, and for 9 endless minutes Lily fought the river, the pressure, the burning in her chest, finally smashing the window with a rock she carried up from the riverbed, slicing her hands, dragging Emma free inch by inch, breaking the seatbelt, wrapping an arm around her and kicking toward the surface with the last scraps of strength she had, collapsing on the muddy bank as sirens wailed in the distance and bystanders finally arrived, too late to do anything except stare at the girl who had pulled off the impossible and then quietly tried to stand up and walk away, because that was what Lily always did, disappear before anyone could ask questions. But fate does not let miracles walk off unnoticed. And when the police and paramedics arrived and realized Emma was alive after being underwater far longer than anyone thought survivable, the story spread fast, and with it came a name that carried weight everywhere it went, because Emma Reynolds was the wife of Jack Reynolds, a senior member of the Hells Angels, and by nightfall, while Lily sat on a hospital bench wrapped in a borrowed blanket, bleeding hands shaking, she felt that old familiar fear crawl up her spine, the fear that powerful people always brought consequences, not gratitude. Jack arrived like a storm, leather vest soaked from rain, eyes hard from a life that taught him never to trust softness. But when he saw his wife alive, breathing, and heard the truth of who had saved her, something inside him cracked open in a way no rival ever had, because the girl who had done it stood in the corner, small, bruised, trying to look smaller, ready to run, and in that moment Jack did not see a runaway or a problem, he saw courage that demanded respect. And while Lily expected shouting or blame or questions she could not answer, what followed instead was protection, quiet and absolute, because AFFA, the Angels Forever Forever Angels family, was not just a name but a code, and once someone saved one of their own with that kind of selflessness, they did not get abandoned. The days that followed were confusing and frightening for Lily, interviews she barely understood, nurses who treated her cuts, police who eventually realized she was not in trouble, and then the offer she never expected, a place to stay, no questions asked, food without conditions, safety without threat, and she resisted at first because trust had always been the most dangerous thing in her life. But Emma visited her hospital room, eyes still tired, voice gentle, hands steady as she thanked Lily, not like a hero thanking a fan but like a sister speaking to another sister, and something in Lily's chest finally loosened, the knot she had been carrying for years slowly starting to unravel. Moving into the AFFA world was like stepping onto another planet, loud engines, rough voices, intimidating faces, and yet beneath it all was structure, loyalty, and rules that made sense, and Lily struggled at first, flinching at sudden movements, waking up from nightmares, expecting kindness to vanish the moment she made a mistake, but it did not, and Jack, a man feared by many, made one thing clear without ever raising his voice, that Lily was under their protection now, that no one touched her, threatened her, or questioned her past unless she chose to speak, and that promise began to heal wounds she did not know how to name. As weeks turned into months, Lily learned what it felt like to eat without guilt, to sleep without fear, to laugh without waiting for punishment, and she also learned that saving someone had not just changed Emma's life, it had given her own a direction, because she started volunteering with water safety programs, learning real rescue skills, turning that moment of chaos into purpose, and every time she stood by a river teaching kids about currents and danger, she remembered the cold, the darkness, the feeling of almost giving up and choosing not to, and she understood that courage was not about being fearless but about acting while afraid. The AFFA family became more than protectors, they became witnesses to her growth, celebrating small victories like her first driver's license, her first job, her first night without nightmares, and Lily, once a girl who believed she did not deserve a future, slowly began to build one, grounded in the simple truth that her life mattered because she chose to save another when no one was watching. Just before the ending of this story, take a moment and comment below what courage means to you, because your words might be the strength someone else needs today. And as this chapter closes, Lily stands again by that same river, older, steadier, hands scarred but strong, watching the water flow past and knowing that 9 minutes underwater did not just save Emma Reynolds, it pulled Lily Carter out of a life of running and into a family she never knew she could have. And if this story touched your heart, if it reminded you that one brave act can change generations, please like, share, and engage with this video, because every interaction helps stories of hope travel further, and somewhere out there, another lost soul might be waiting to hear that they, too, can be saved.